Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again for another episode of Mark on Comics. So today I've got for you the CovrPrice top 10 list from January 6th, 2025, and they're standing on the CBCS Population report. So not a whole heck of a lot for CBCS Population report, so I'm also going to be including sales data. So before we get started, please hit the like, subscribe, notification bell so the algorithm will get me in front of more people. I'd really appreciate that. So, number 10 on the CovrPrice top 10 list for January 6, 2025 is the Ultimate Universe 1 Year In Alessandro Capaccio spoiler cover. So there are currently none on the CBCS Population report. CovrPrice, their reporting sales data is that the top sale for the week was $31 for a near mint raw copy. Weekly units sold, there were 28 sold. The raw most common was $16 for a near mint. Slabbed most common was $58 for a 9.8. And it's had a growth rate of 23%. Number 9 is It's Jeff, the Girahiru regular cover. There are none on the CBCS Population report, but the sales data, its top sale for the week was $83 for a CGC 9.2. That week it sold 11 units. Its raw most common was $46 for a near mint copy. Slabbed most common was $53 for a 9.8 with a growth rate of 42%. Next, the number 8 spot, Superman 680. So Superman 680 has two 9.8 blue labels, one 9.2 blue label, one 9.8 yellow label, and one 8.5 yellow label. And its sales data, top weekly sale was $250 for a CGC 9.6. The units sold that week, there were 32 sold, with the raw most common sale is $43 for a near mint copy. Most common slab was $125 for a 9.8 with a growth rate of 21%. So next in the number 7 spot, DC All-In Special number 1, the regular Daniel Samphire wraparound cover. There are 4 9.8 yellow labels. Its weekly top sale was $15 near mint. Weekly units sold, there were 32. Most common raw was $8 for a near mint, and the most common slab was $90 for a 9.8 with a growth rate of 150%. So that brings us down to the number 6 spot, which is Return of the Living Dead, number 1, the Mark Spears regular cover. Mark Spears is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Now, I'm not a big fan of digital art, but if you are, you need to be picking up these Mark Spears covers. So, top sale, $100 for a CGC 9.8. Weekly units sold, there were 51, with the most common raw being a near mint at $14, and a most common slab was a 9.8 for $87, with a growth rate of 70%. So that's halfway through the list. So at this time I want to give a heartfelt thank you. I know things have gotten a little difficult with my posting, but we got a new puppy and she's a lot of work. So I apologize, not trying to make excuses. Just please stay with me and I'll do the best I can. The number 5 spot, Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. Number 1, the Todd McFarlane black and white 1 in 50 cover. So awesome. There are none on the population report. So to the sales data, weekly top sale was $355 for a near mint raw. Weekly units sold, there were 8. The raw most common is $297 for a near mint copy. And the slabbed most common is none, because there's none on the population report. None have been slabbed yet. So none there, but there is a growth rate of 8%. Next, we move on to the number 4 spot, which is Lobo, number 1. Now, this is a big list on the population report. Well, hi everyone. I am interrupting this video because I noticed yesterday when filming, I got the Lobo population report from CBCS all wrong. I messed up bad. So I'm re-recording. Sorry this is a day late, but I'll get it out hopefully this evening. So Lobo number 1, Blue Label Direct 2298s, 696s, 494s, 192, 290s, 3 8.5s, and 1 each 8.0, 7.5, and 6.5 for a total of 41 Blue Label Direct for Lobo number 1. Then Yellow Label Direct, we've got 13 9.8s, 14 9.6s, 15 9.4s, then 6 9.2s, 5 9.0s, 8 8.5s, 5 8.0s, 4 7.5s, and 1 5.0 for a total of 71 Yellow Label Directs for Lobo number 1. Next, we move into Newsstand, Blue Label. We've got 298, 396, 194 and 92, 3 9.0s, and 1 8.5 for a total of 11 Blue Label Newsstand. Then we move to Yellow Label Newsstand, and we've got 2 9.6s, 1 9.4, 3 9.2s, 1 9.0 and 8.5, 3 8.0s, 3 7.0s, and 1 5.5 for a total of 15 Yellow Label Newsstand. Then moving on to Blue Label Other, we've got 8 9.8s, 4 9.6s, 1 9.4, 2 9.2s, 1 each 9.0, 8.5, 8.0, and 5.0 for a total of 19 Blue Label Other. Then in Yellow Label Other, we have 3 total, all 1 each, 9.6, 9.4, and 9.0. So that is the population report for Lobo number 1 from CBCS. So now back to the rest of the video. Thank you. Bye. This is where they got away from the nicer image from Omega Men number 3 and made Lobo a real BA. So that's that. Next, forgot to give you the sales data. Lobo number 1. Its top weekly sale, there was a $190 sale for a CGC 9.8. Number of units sold for the week was 82. The most common raw was $16 for a very fine copy. The most common slabbed price was $186 for a 9.8. And there has been a growth rate of 114%. So next we move down to the number 3 spot, which is Spawn 360, the Brett Booth Virgin 1 in 50 variant. There are currently none on the CBCS Population report, but sales. The top weekly sale was $269 for a near mint. Weekly units sold, there were 26. The most common raw was $203 for a near mint. And there aren't any on the CBCS or CGC population reports yet that have garnered any sales data. So slab most common, $0 with a growth rate of 71%. Okay, next in the number 2 spot, we've got Time Slide number 1, the Rob Liefeld Hidden Gem 1 in 50 variant. So none on the CBCS population report. So sales data. Top weekly sale was $165 for a near mint. The weekly units sold, there were 6 sold. The raw most common was $91 for a near mint, and there are none on the CBCS or CGC population reports that have garnered any sales data, so it's 0% slabbed, and the growth rate is 140%. Now we move on to the number 1 comic according to CovrPrice for January 6th, 2025, and that is another Lobo cover, Omega Men number 3. Woo! So, got sales data, but there's only direct and other. So, Blue Label direct got 168 9.8s, 100 9.6s, 80 9.4s, 48 9.2s, 30 9.0s, 39 8.5s, 16 8.0s, 10 7.5s, 11 7.0s, 8 6.5s, and 2 6.0s for a total of 512 Blue Label Direct Omega Men number 3. Next, moving on to the Yellow Label Direct. There are 44 9.8s, 50 9.6s, 25 9.4s, 14 9.2s, and 19 9.0s, with 12 8.5s, 4 8.0s, 5 7.5s, 3 7.0s, 1 5.5, 1 5.0, 1 4.5, 1 3.5, and 1 original art for a total of 181 Yellow Label Direct. Now Blue Label Other, 87 9.8s, 79 9.6s, 49 9.4s, 26 9.2s, 15 9.0s, 9 8.5s, 6 8.0s, 3 7.5s, and 1 each 70, 65, 60, and 55 for a total of 278 Blue Label Other. A Yellow Label Other, there are 3 9.8s, 2 9.6s, 3 9.4s, 3 9.2s, 4 9.0s, 1 8.5, and 1 7.5 for a total of 17 Blue Label Other. And the sales data on Omega Men number 3. Top weekly sale was $400 for a CGC 9.8, with a number of units sold during the week of 186. Most common raw sold was $96 for a near mint, and the most common slabbed was $404 for a 9.8. And Omega Men number 3 has had a growth rate in sales of 82%. So, that is the CovrPrice Top 10 list for January 6th, 2025. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Try to get more out to you. So, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.